This presentation is designed to portray a correlation between diversity and inequalities that women experience and how they relate to the sport of hunting. Patricia Hill Collins exposed the world to ideas such as the matrix of domination in her writings. In her book, Black Feminist Thought, Knowledge, Consciousness, and the Politics of Empowerment, she focuses on the type of discrimination experienced by individuals as well as the importance of empowerment and change. Obtaining new knowledge is essential for social transformation of political and economic institutions by changing the consciousness of individuals. This ties into her idea of the existence of a matrix of domination, in which a sociological paradigm explains issues of oppression that deal with race, class, and gender, which, though recognizes different social classifications, are all interconnected. These writings allowed for a conversation to begin into the oppression and lack of opportunity for individuals. Kimberly Crenshaw expanded on the foundational ideas of the matrix of domination in 1989 by adopting the methodology of intersectionality in her studies of women. This methodology was designed to study the relationships among multiple dimensions and modalities of social relationships and subject formations. This early theory also examined how social, biological, and cultural categories interact on multiple levels, leading to its complicated system of inequality. Many Americans, including women, experience income inequality at some point in their lives. Approximately 5% of Americans agree that there is an ever-increasing issue with wealth distribution, but do not support wealth distribution policies. Furthermore, approximately 70% of the population will have experienced at least 1 year within the top 20th percentile of income, while 53% will experience at least 1 year within the top 10th percentile of income. More than half of Americans will experience poverty in their first 60 years of life. Oppression is experienced by many different social groups. For example, being a woman typically leaves her unable to participate in activities such as construction or hunting without harassment or the ability to receive equal wages. Also, being of a lower social class leaves women segregated from upper classes, hindering the opportunity for upward movement. Income inequality has resulted in a separation in reality between the upper class and the lower classes. People who come from a lower class background have to depend more on other people. Health studies have found that lower class people have more anxiety and depression and are less physically healthy. The United States has made significant progress toward social equality as a means of ensuring prosperity for all. The civil rights movement began after the Civil War and lasted for over 100 years, pushing for racial equality. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act was signed into law by then-President Lyndon Johnson. This act outlawed segregation and the Jim Crow laws of the South, as well as discrimination based on race, national background, and gender. The Voting Rights Act followed in 1965 and ruled that citizens could not be denied the right to vote based on their race or ability to read. The women's suffrage movement preceded the civil rights movement and occurred between 1848 and 1920. During this movement, women in the United States protested and fought to attain the same civil and political status as men, including the right to vote. Furthermore, the Representation of the People Act of 1918 gave women over the age of 30 the right to vote if they met minimum property qualifications or were married to a man who did. Although laws have been enacted to protect women's rights and equalities, discrimination and inequality in the workplace persists. Of the 890 environmental job sector leadership positions that were analyzed in 193 UN member states, only 12% were held by women. Furthermore, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology released a report in March of 2011 that found that a gender gap and intimidating work environments still existed for women employed in the fields of science and engineering. Benefits of diversity exist both inside and outside the workforce. For instance, neighborhoods are the central component in family and children's livelihoods by providing essential public and private services, including schools. Quality grocery stores, reliable childcare, safe after-school activities, and healthy recreational facilities add to the quality of life a neighborhood offers its residents. Neighbors and neighborhoods influence behavior and teach children what is expected of them. Racially diverse neighborhoods provide opportunities for exposure and interaction between all individuals, which appears to contribute to greater tolerance, fair-mindedness, and openness to diverse networks and settings. All benefits are met with challenges. Mortgage lenders are typically less willing to invest in predominantly minority communities. In turn, home values and property tax revenues typically lag in these communities, limiting the ability of local and state governments to deliver high-quality public services. Also, some analysis of neighborhood diversity has suggested that residents of ethnically diverse neighborhoods generally have lower levels of trust and community cooperation than residents of less diverse neighborhoods. As with other aspects of social and employment discrimination, women still face adversity in the world of hunting. Hunting is a historically male-dominated activity. What was initially an act for survival that transitioned into a hobby and a means for employment and income. In Canada, only 14.2% of fishing, hunting, and trapping is conducted by women. In 2001, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife data showed that only 9.2% of hunters were female. In 2011, that percentage rose to 11%. Although numbers remain low, the increase is important to note, as the Bureau of Labor Statistics 2012 American Time Use survey found that nearly 61% of women are involved in daily household food preparation and cleanup. As more women are exposed to the sport and its health benefits, including free-range and antibiotic-free food, the number of women hunters is projected to increase. Gaining women's interest in hunting could be addressed by focusing a national campaign on the importance of obtaining free-range and antibiotic-free food that also allows them to contribute to the conservation of the environment and all ecosystems. Making a general campaign featuring members of all genders and ages will allow women to feel included in the sport of hunting. Television shows such as Life Below Zero, The Alaskan Bush People, Yukon Men, Homestead Rescue, and Alaska: The Last Frontier have popularized hunting, gathering, and overall self-reliance aimed at all genders. Greater marketing and exposure of Becoming an Outdoor Woman courses throughout each state will give women a comfortable atmosphere to learn about and explore the possibility of becoming a hunter. Currently, 36 states and 6 Canadian provinces offer Becoming an Outdoor Woman programs. The benefits of promoting women's participation in hunting are numerous. Greater participation by women helps with funding for conservation, according to officials with National Hunting and Fishing Day. Hunting and fishing license sales, along with the taxes on firearms and ammunition, bows and arrows, and rods and reels, generates approximately $100,000 every 30 minutes, totaling more than $1.75 billion per year for conservation. Hunting also offers an alternative to the grocery store that lets women provide truly free-range and organic meat for their families, while also helping create a more sustainable food system.